Welcome to the second episode of Setup Reacts, brought to you by the keyboard company that I'm building called Zen. We're making keyboards and tools that help you complete creative work faster, and you can learn more at www.inputzen.com. If this is your first time watching, the concept is simple. I'm going to watch videos and pictures of setups and react to them. If you want to delve deeper into all the setups that we cover here, or maybe even submit your own setup to be featured in a future episode, visit setupreacts.com or click the link in the description. Today's setups all have one thing in common. They are all maximalist setups. We've all seen the minimalist setups and workspaces online, and I'm ready to dive into the flip side. I want to see the setups where someone said more is more. And I don't mean clutter and lack of care. I'm trying to see people who have carefully tried cramming their massive collection of Funko Pops into a tiny space and actually made it look good. I want to see chaos, baby. So let's get into today's setups. I think we're going to have some fun with these ones. No more waiting, bring on the setups. So this first setup, it's an interesting one. It's a bit of an older setup. I think it's from like 2001. Well, you'll see what I'm talking about as we go on. But yeah, his first video is from 2001. It's from a creator called KJ Lin, who I think I remember I was on Reddit and I saw the setup which had these two sort of like ultra wide monitors, which were set up vertically next to a very large 4K monitor. So they both on either side. It's in like a starfighter, like a Star Wars starfighter layout, and it looked very interesting. It looked a bit kind of like overwhelming, and I think it was kind of the first time I've sort of seen something. This whole concept of sort of maximalism. He kind of introduced me to it, if you want to put it that way. And it's interesting. I actually went to his YouTube channel. I found a video where he actually talks about his maximalist setup. It's kind of interesting. He talks about the maximalism concept. I didn't actually realize this is kind of like an interior design sort of concept. Maximalism, I guess, kind of makes sense, right? The opposite of minimalism. So yeah, we're going to watch a bit of his video and see what he has to say, and also see the setup. The setup's super interesting. All right, let's see what happens here.
Hey guys, welcome back. I'm going to talk today about my work from home office setup. This took a lot of months. I spend more than 40% of my life on my desk, so this is important, and that's why I talk about this. I'm a person that is typically modern and minimalist. Minimalism has been popular because it tends to offend no one. It's simple, economical, and essential. But the more I did it, the more fake I felt. Another YouTuber named Matt Diavella just spoke about the decline of minimalism. And I think he's onto something. When I started building this office desk, I started thinking, was that the wrong solution for me? Was there something better that I could use to kind of use as a philosophy? Look at this trend for maximalism, the opposite of minimalism. During the outbreak and the increasing acceptance of work from home, I saw society and myself going through a transformation. So this year, I felt my desk needed to be every complicated thing I needed to do. Just plop everything onto the desk environment so I have it at any time. The nice thing about maximalism is nothing is off the table. According to Pinterest data, people are searching for maximalism decor 5 times more now than they were over.
It's kind of like a slightly weird way to look at it, right? It's like maximalism being just plop everything on a desk so it's all there in front of you. I don't really know if that's, I don't know, I mean, this early on in the video, I don't really know if that's like a correct take. I don't know if it's a case of like just have everything possible out and sort of just right there so you can just grab it. That just seems like chaos to me. It seems like maximalism is actually kind of like it's like a curated overwhelm. That's how I'd put it, where essentially, you know, you're yes, you have a lot of things and you're cramming a lot of like visual elements into a space, but there's still supposed to be like an element of design to it. It's still supposed to seem like, sure, wow, there's a lot here. This is overwhelming, but man, it's displayed. So it's displayed nicely. There's something pleasant about a space which is just is filled with color and sort of like dynamic elements, and then it's still sort of, wow, this kind of fits. It's the same kind of thing when you go to a museum. You're looking at art pictures. Yeah, you're some pictures you'll look like, wow, that's there's just a lot going on there, but something's still appealing about it. It's hard to put into words, but yeah, I want to see what else he has to say about this.
Year ago, it's rising during the outbreak. The mantra of it is more is more. Maximalism is a path that highlights who you are. It prioritizes things that are comforting to you, demonstrates who you are uniquely and in all of its complexity, sometimes with very, very bold colors and a strong sense of curated consumerism.
Such a strange concept, right? Curated consumerism. I mean, this is consumerism is consumerism, right? Yeah, shouldn't it be? Isn't the curation in the actual purchasing? I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking this. Surely.
This has demonstrated that people were collecting items that were resonating with them in their outside lives. Hobbies, needs, and passions were being reconsidered and being brought back in, bringing the outside in, not by reduction, but by addition. NVIDIA GTX 390 is constantly out of stock for gamers. Sold out Pelotons for all those SoulCycle fans. This idea can easily become negatively associated with excess, spending more, and messiness, but also it's not a requirement, and really it's not the core. At its core, it's about focusing on the things you love in a tasteful way. I mean, IKEA is even getting on this bandwagon. I mean, look at these new patterns that they have. Mark Twain once said, "I didn't have time to write a short letter, so I wrote a long one instead." It's easy to interpret this as short is better, the modern and minimalist approach. But what if you just didn't have the time and it wasn't a priority? You got the job done, so why waste time and just do something more meaningful? I'm starting to realize that the surprising waste of time and effort and maintenance required to keep things simple, minimal, and elegant in places like my home or a Pinterest board was actually not that productive. An article I read from Apartment Therapy mentioned that maximalism is often more practical for people in their day-to-day lives than minimalism. To be a maximalist office, I summed up the...
Anyone else spot the there's just a random clip of him apparently spray painting his glasses. Is that just me? And I feel like there was like a little Easter egg there.
3 rules. Number 1, be bold and loud about the things you love. Number 2, curate, don't clutter. Number 3, represent who you are. It's time to show you, through these rules, my Marie Kondo nightmare and spark my own joy. So number 1, be bold about the things you love. The thing about complicated desks is that if you know what's on it by heart, it's okay because it works for you. Einstein would agree with his messy desk. And also Casey Neistat with his all-functioning studio. When you want to be a maximalist, you raise the volume on your interests. It's not always about high fashion, couture, crazy colors, or cheetah prints. Hiding away things in minimalism is also like hiding away the doing. And ironically, things get more complicated because you have to take more steps to start something. If I want to film something, would I have to look in another shelf and pull something out again and again and again? How much time does that take? Why not just have everything out? Why not just have it out the whole time? I much prefer an office setup about doing, because that's me. Execution, execution, execution. Number 2, curate, don't clutter.
See, right, just seeing that setup there really quickly, that just seemed like a highly functional setup. Like he literally has what appears to be quite a sort of upscale video setup. I've noticed like a shotgun microphone. He has blankets. Sometimes it can be for audio, sometimes for lighting as well. You can bounce light off of blankets like that. That's up in the background. A bunch of lights sort of coming off the table and a bunch of frames. So it's like it's not really cluttered. Again, I don't know, is that maximalist or is that just having a lot of tools out to do your job? It's interesting. He mentioned Casey Neistat, I think Casey Neistat's a perfect example of someone who seems more. They're trying to add like a design, a theme, a philosophy to how they lay out a lot of stuff. Like it's not just okay. I have a wall full of let's say small shelves to hold different size screws that I'm going to need throughout the day. I have this wall and it's laid out in a certain way, but there's a design element to it. It's like they use certain types of wood and they write, they write the contents of each item in the same very specific way. There is oftentimes like a design philosophy that goes behind it. It's not just lots of tools. That would just be mess. That would be clutter.
I love high-end tech.
So great. Oh God. Yeah.
At my fingertips, every knob, button, and control was going to make this battle station a reality. I curated all sorts of tech that had meaning, utility, and history for me. This is the heart, a gaming creator-grade laptop with superior connectivity to devices, the Asus ZenBook Pro Duo. It was the first of its kind to have two monitors on a single laptop, and so I have a switch that can actually cover over 10 camera angles. I don't have 10 at the moment, but maybe in the future. The recording eyes of this setup are all Sony. My history with Sony goes back to when I was a budding filmmaker with the VX2000 and the PD100. I have a 4K Sony a7 III for this filming, this particular angle. Zoom calls where I don't have to look at the monitor. I'm not looking down at the monitor, but directly at people or things I'm talking about. There's an overhead cam above for any showcase of items on the table. Now this is probably my most favorite camera at the moment. Probably the best vlogging camera that I think is on the market at the moment. And an editing setup in my main office, and a gear wall of my dreams. Audio and the audio recording of this setup, this podcast style microphone, the legendary SM7B, part of the SM7 series that Michael Jackson used. Legendary industry standard boom mic overhead, the Sennheiser MKH416. I was taught to appreciate the power of sound and story by the person who invented the sound standard known as THX. I had to get something THX certified, a high-end.
That was George Lucas, right? George Lucas invented THX, I think. Yeah, I mean, didn't he have a film called? It was called THX. I think it was one of his first films. I think it was it wasn't quite like a student film, but it was one of his first sort of like budget releases. It was supposed to be really good. I think I've got a copy of it. I need to actually sit and watch it.
Monolith DAC to power my Sony signature top-end headphone and Sennheiser A100S headphones for studio work and monitoring. Rodecaster Pro for mixing and casting and also conference calls as my main interface for audio. Great audio engine speakers just for enjoyment. I wanted to create the right lighting style for my setup, which would include lighting that could fit a frontal shot right here and also an overhead shot coming down. I wanted to do something a little non-conventional. I used a Roger Deakins style cove lighting as fill using stand-up bounce boards to create an overall atmosphere of softened natural light. And then a quad monitor setup to view everything. I have a 10G connection here with this device and then also 10G enterprise switch for the sake of 10G transfer speeds to my 10G NAS. I can seamlessly edit between two.
I actually just set this up myself. I have this old, it's not old, it's actually relatively recent. About 2 years ago, I purchased this, it was a switch, a network switch from AliExpress, which has two 10 gigabyte per second SFP plus slots on it, as well as four 2.5 gig slots. So my idea was to I have a NAS which stores all my video files, which I use for this channel and other channels, as well as like all of my work stuff, essentially, backups of my work stuff. So that's all stored on a NAS, as well as a bunch of Linux ISOs. And I wanted a 10G connection, so I only needed two. So I needed my main computer, which is my MacBook Air, actually, at the moment. I wanted a 10G connection on that, and everything else could be 2.5 gig. And it worked. However, I did have to use I was using, so in my NAS, I have an Ethernet 10 gigabyte per second card from Synology, and so I had to essentially convert that into SFP plus so it could connect to the switch. So I had this decoder, which it was a bit flaky, and then it just kind of stopped working at one point, and it actually turns out that I put it in upside down. So that's why it stopped working. So I purchased this new switch last week. I just installed it a couple of days ago, and it has a Ethernet 10 gigabit per second port, as well as one SFP plus port. And I actually connect that to my old switch now. So now I have a bunch of 2.5 gig and 10 gigabyte per second ports here in my office. And I'm trying to the goal is to make everything 10G, but for the moment, important stuff on 10 gigabytes per second, everything else on 2.5. And everything's noticeably faster. You hook it straight up. It's like, oh wow, this is faster. Before I couldn't really play files, like I couldn't play a video file that's stored on my NAS on one of the on one of the spinning Rust hard drives, 3.5 inch hard drives. It would sort of lag, or it would have to load, it would have to buffer quite a bit of the file before it would play on my MacBooks. I'm trying to play a video file over the network. That wouldn't work. However, now with the 10G connection to the NAS, 2.5 gig connection to the laptop, it's working smoothly, and I'm sure it would be even better if I can get a 10 gig connection on my MacBook Air, which I will be doing soon.
Computers, whether in my garage or my main office. Really awesome seat by Logitech and Herman Miller. I've always been a huge fan of them. And I have cable management that started out okay, but just evolved into a jungle, so I just let that be. Number 3, represent who I am. Now I can...
No. You're not getting away with... I got to go back. That was horrible.
Huge fan of them. And I have cable management that started out okay, but just evolved into a jungle, so I just let...
That started out okay. I don't believe you. So I have kind of like more cable mess than I like on the table that I'm using right now, on the desk I'm using right now, and it bugs me. This is just, and it's just, hey man, this is let me disconnect this cable which I set up a year ago and just reconnect it. Just make sure something's not running right. Try and do it with this. That's like a 2-hour job. You got to untangle everything just to get to one cable. It's not worth it. Just a little bit, 2 hours of effort just to straighten everything out, get some clips. If you can get a few of those, you can purchase these kind of like T-slots. Not T-slots, they're kind of like plastic, like under desk mounts just for running cables. They're just got these long channels which have a hole in one side. Purchase one of those, or just purchase one of they have these wire slots where it's a 2-part thing, and it's like you attach one to the desk, you can screw it in, or just use double-sided tape, and it kind of has a plastic thing which you clip on top, and you can kind of just shove all the cables inside it, but it looks super neat. Or if you have like a 3D printer, you can look into there's a project called Underwear, which I actually have set up on my main work desk here. You can 3D print all these sort of like cable management tools. Just do something. A little bit of work. This goes a long way. I've done a little bit on this table, and it's better than it was before. It just makes things so much easier when you need to find cables. That's the real reason to cable manage, is just so, let me change this USB device, and you have to go and follow the cable path through a tangle like this. Forget about it. You're just not going to do it. You'd be like, I'll just buy a new cable. And it just adds to the mess. Yeah, not worth it.
Number 3, represent who I am. Now I can be a video creator who could film from 3 angles, frontal, top, and dynamic shots into my computer or directly into the cameras. Number 2, I can be a professional who does conference calls worldwide with investors, partners, colleagues, business people, and can look good doing it with the best source of audio, lighting, and video equipment. Number 3, a gamer who has fast equipment, tactile, and awesome visual feedback. Number 4, a day trader who could use 4 monitors to observe the market, buy the fucking dip, and make a little money. Thanks, LKS. And a foodie and otaku that just had a little more space to eat and watch anime and possibly film a mukbang ASMR in his garage. Accepting my differing and conflicting personas easily through this test was my goal. A do-everything machine that basically...
I don't like to see people eating, man. Like, when people do mukbangs, I just don't understand the concept. I don't like seeing myself eating. It's like uncomfortable. If I catch myself in the mirror eating, I'm like, ugh, just look away. So I don't know, maybe it's just me. Comment below. Comment below. Do you like seeing people eat on YouTube or in video format? Is that appealing, or does it not bother other people like it does me? Maybe it's just me. That's highly likely it's just me.
I'm complicated and I don't want to dress up, so I'm just gonna bear it all. So this is my maximalist self in a nutshell. The 2020s are starting to rear itself as a maximalist explosion.
All right, I think he goes into a little bit of like, so yeah, we'll skip past that. But what I want to quickly show you is that, so yeah, the setup he showed there, I wouldn't really call that maximalist. I'd call that more just, you know, lots of high-end tools, very high-end tools, by the way. Like 2 extremely high-end headphones seems just like overkill to me. So yeah, what I want to do is I want to show you his updated setup that he actually created after this one. Two vertical, I think those are 49 inch ultra wide monitors is just insane. It's kind of like you're not going to be looking up almost like a 90-degree angle upwards in order to see the contents of the screen up there. It's purely for the flex. I respect the flex, don't get me wrong, but it's a flex. So I don't know, when I saw that I was like, whoa, that's hardcore, that's a decision. But you know, it earned him a level of fame that I think it was worth it. It was like an experiment. He tried something, it worked, it was interesting. So yeah, kudos to him, man. The part of the setup that actually I really love is on the walls. He seems to have this kind of like, I don't know, they're like these large like white panels, but they're kind of like in these blocks, but they seem to have like a 3D effect to them. I really like those. Those look really cool to me. Sort of like an under highlighted detail there. I don't know. It makes the room kind of look like this. It's kind of clinical, but at the same time, it kind of has like its own. It has a design to it. It has something cool about it. It's a good job there. was impressive. That was impressive. I've got a static picture of this setup. Let me see. The Reddit post is called "I'm an ultra wide fan, but in a different way," and he's not lying. Yeah, that is crazy. Look at that. A little PS5 just kind of hidden in the corner. But yeah, you see what I'm saying about these wall panels? They're super interesting. I'm not sure how, it's not tile, obviously. Maybe it's just, I don't think it's foam, but it seems like there's sort of like, I don't know if it's plastic. It seems to have a texture to it. Yeah, I don't know. I like that. It's a nice design touch. Cheeky. I think this is in Asia. Yeah, he has a AC over here. Yeah, it's just well done. Again, don't know if I call any of this maximalist. It's definitely over the top, but in a good way, in a respectable way. It's the kind of over the top that we like here at Setup Reacts. So good job. All right, let's move on to the next setup. Okay, so this setup is a Reddit post, which I came across. This is from about a year ago, and this is a very interesting setup here. I think this doesn't seem to be function. This is like, yeah, I have a theme in my mind, and the theme is essentially have screens laid out in a way that makes people look at it and go, whoa, what's going on here? I don't think there's a reason necessarily behind this. It's just my guess, simply because, I mean, you have, what is this, a laptop here? Yeah, it's a laptop over here. Is that a UPS? You have a UPS holding. Is it? These are mobile phones. You have this, which seems to be like maybe an old broken laptop screen or a screen from somewhere. It seems to be disconnected. You have an old Apple Cinema display. This seems like maybe like an LG with the white on the back. This seems like another Apple display up here. Yeah, look, these are 3D print mounted to the ceiling. Yeah, this guy just went, you know what? I have a theme in mind. I can envision it. I'm gonna make it happen. And again, I respect that. I respect the vision. I'm not sure what this is powered from. He seems to have, so he has a laptop here, laptop here. I'm not sure I see a desktop PC anywhere. So I'm just going to assume this is the main computer here, the main laptop. What was that, an iPod? Even has an iPod over here. Yeah, a little bit of organization. Also, I like these chairs. I think this chair is called a Capisco. I think it's called. It's a Haag Capisco. I was looking into these, a little bit pricey for me, but they seem to be very, very nice chairs for. They allow a bunch of different positions. So because it has a sort of cross shape, and also the seat is sort of shaped as this kind of like, almost like a saddle design. So you can kind of turn it around and sit on it backwards. And I think a lot of people use them to, like artists use them because it allow for more arm positions. Then maybe not supposed to be comfortable for sitting in for like, maybe 2 hours plus, but I think people make them work just because they're so like, they're just dynamic chairs. They just allow for a lot of positions. So who knows, if I can find one for a decent price, I might pick one up in future. So I also found a video that this guy made about creating this setup. So I'm just going to skim through it, and let's see if we can glean any more information behind this setup. Also, one last thing, I just noticed here he has is this the what was it called, the Harman Kando? I always wanted these when I was like a teenager. I always used to see these like see-through speakers. They had the see-through subwoofer. Does he have and they had these sticks, these like long sticks, Harman Kando sticks, I think they were called, or I can't remember. But yeah, they were very popular.
Okay, this is my kind of minimal setup.
Yeah, these are the speakers I'm talking about. They, now that I look at them, they're a little bit phallic. But yeah, these were so cool. Back when I was like a young teenager into computers, I used to see the speakers. I was always trying to get a pair, but I could never find any that were like brand new. They were just too expensive for me to buy as a teenager. Secondhand, I could never find a set that were like weren't destroyed. Maybe they were a little bit fragile due to, I think they were plastic, maybe glass. I'm not sure. But yeah, let's keep on with the video.
And I want to do the exact opposite. With a bunch of different screens. The theme we are going for are like Cyberpunk, the Matrix, Nebuchadnezzar setup. Also, clean up this space. Okay, let's go. For this one, I 3D printed a bunch of different stuff. Ended up with this Frankensteining thingy. Or not Frankenstein, because Frankenstein was the inventor and not the monster. Need some more fine tuning. That's okay. Bunch more of these 3D printed brackets. Some 3D printed parts, a lot of strange wooden contraptions. Most of this will not be visible, so yeah. Let's mount them. This one. Yeah. The original idea was to use these as like just mock-ups and then make something better later, but I'll just keep it as this. Okay, and I will try to hide a lot of the wires and all the mock-up things here.
You say the original plan was to, have a mock-up. Basically, the original plan was to make a plan, but nah. Let's just go with whatever. However this turns out, that's how it's staying pretty much. I'm familiar with this this methodology also.
It's super hard not to laugh at these rigs, but this will work.
Was that a mini disc player? Was that what they used to be called? Mini disc? He has a mini disc player, which I think he just super glued to a piece of wood, and an iPod. Both just super glued down. Oh my God. These seem to be sort of like old iPods. Sort of a lot of people are sort of reusing them to, I don't know, and upgrading them, so adding like Bluetooth functionality to an old iPod. They're kind of coming back into style, I've noticed. I think it's called like analog tech. It's not really analog, it's still digital, but yeah, people using older technology just because they're more simple, single purpose, I think is the main thing. So, people don't really like getting all their music through like Spotify. Sometimes some people, maybe through YouTube. So they're like, I don't want the distractions. I just want my music. I want it high quality, unadulterated. And the original iPods and mini disc players, if you still have mini discs, were very good for that. Just one device does one thing, does it pretty well, and had pretty good interfaces on them. Yeah, there's also a bit of nostalgia there too, right? Like reminds you of when did the original iPod come out? 2000, early 2000s. Yeah, maybe just reminds you of those days.
Not to laugh at these rigs, but this will work. Okay, this awesome 3D printed lab I found on Printables. I will link below. It totally fits this setup. Okay, I got most of my screens up now. So now we have to do a couple of things. One, we're gonna do some cable management and get everything powered up. 2, make it a bit better looking. And 3, let's make something cool here. So, I 3D printed a bunch of objects here that will keep all my essentials, or whatever you could call it. This is just the first iteration. Okay, still first.
First iteration, sure. First and final. Let's just be honest here. It's fine. We know what's gonna happen, man.
So don't laugh at all the bottle. Simple shell. All the screen and everything is up. Now I'll do some cable management. Let's wire it up. Everything is up. To turn everything on and off, I got this large safety switch here that will power everything. Poof, one big pull, boom, poof. But this one is not cool enough. So I treated with the different handles, did some trial and erroring. This just slides in here. Now we can do it like this. To power the screens with some sort of computer. That's why it's super convenient that we're building one now. Microphone stand, just a 3D print filled with concrete. To use it, I get the cable, plug it in. This one, take a hard drive, put it in, take the wire, plug it in. Hard drives, just a 3D printed shell.
I like this setup because it's like, it seems kind of like, I'm not going to say jank. It's not jank. Clearly, he's put a lot of effort and sort of creativity into all of this. Even like the switch, like having like, I wanted to have a clank sound, so he 3D prints the mount so it has like a heavy switch on it. That's pretty cool. But also I noticed some like the computer he was building there. It looked pretty impressive. It looked like a nice build as well. Like the microphone, which he has on like the concrete based microphone stand. I think that's a is it the Electro Voice? It's called the RE20, I want to say. That's a very good microphone. It's like on a level with the Shure SM7B. Very good microphone, quite expensive. So yeah, there's some sort of high-end part sort of mixed in with this like sort of very DIY sort of like old tech sort of combination. It's a pretty cool mix. It makes for a nice combination. You might not notice a lot of these sort of like high-end pieces if you're not looking for them, or if you never sort of seen them retail and looked them up on Amazon to check the price.
Woo! Done! Cool. Let me tell you what everything is. Got my Slack, got my idea that I never use. Creepy monitor off next room. Super awesome radio app that plays free radio channels from all over the world. Ambient YouTube video, another creepy surveillance video of outside. It's a bit dark so you don't see anything. Good trends from all over the world, it's pretty cool. Just a front facing camera. Clock, dub radio, power prices, my Discord, super awesome NASA app that shows a lot of cool stuff. PC monitoring, just a photo frame that doesn't work right now. Phones, SD cards and USB, some miscellaneous items, sound controller, sound switcher that plays music from the iPad and the mini disc or the PC. Main working screen, this phone, and just every day I put up some new free photos from the National Museum. Some more stats that I don't really use but look cool. This was supposed to go here, but I didn't got enough time. Reading tablet, mini discs, super heavy thing to keep the shelf stable. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's it. Hope you liked the video.
That was cool, man. I love stuff like this. It's just, I think this embodies maximalism to me. You know, it's just kind of like, all right, I'm gonna do this thing. It's just gonna have so many screens. It's gonna look like something from a movie, from the Matrix, or the Nebuchadnezzar in the Matrix. This is maximalism. This is what it should look like. All right, let's move on to the next setup. All right, so this one's interesting. I found this on Reddit. The pictures are a bit dodgy, all right? But I found it interesting simply because the guy seems to be into what's called virtual production, which I think is like, you know, when you see sort of like a 3D generated setting for like a news desk, you know, or like a sports show where, you know, someone sort of flies in from a certain angle on Fox or whatever. They fly in and you know, the teams that are playing, sort of their logos fly in and move around them and sort of rotate. I think he built this setup to sort of create these kind of effects, and I thought it was kind of cool. Also, I mean, the setup does seem just so over the top. I mean, look at this. What you got here? 2 ultra wides. I guess that's like a 27-inch. Up here, another 27, maybe 32. And this seems to be another 27 or placed vertically. And there's a screen here that's built into the desk. So I think he's cut a hole like in the desk and then sort of placed it down in there at an angle, so you can kind of like look directly down, I guess, which is kind of a cool idea. I remember I used to have a friend who was thinking of doing something like this. It was just too much work because essentially you have to kind of build a custom frames. You have to make the cut in your table, or, you know, make a new table and then have something underneath which can also, I guess, hold it at an angle and keep it there and keep it solid. It's just a lot of work. So also, what is this? Is this that looks like is that an Atem, a Blackmagic Atem Mini here at the front, and then this is maybe like I don't know, like an audio panel soundboard, and then this seems to be like a remote. Is that like a remote? Again, terrible lighting. And then, yeah, it's a phone and an iPad, I guess, which is set up as Stream Decks, I think, using the app. So yeah, again, like I said, terrible lighting. This is the actual setup. 2 computers here plus a laptop in his what looks like his closet. You know. Oh god, there's terrible pictures, man. Yeah, that's bad. I'm just gonna skip that one. Here, what seems to be a very high-end camera setup. I think that this is I want to say a Canon, I think they had C200. I'm not like a big camera, like a massive camera nerd, but a little bit of research I did, I came across some of these high-end cameras. I think this might be one of them. I'm not quite sure. And it looks like he has an Elgato teleprompter on the front, just a smart move, and a big key light here in the back. Here you go. So you see the camcorder. Maybe I was wrong on that Canon call. This is a Blackmagic. Oh no, is this a Blackmagic monitor? Is this a Blackmagic camera? If this is a Blackmagic camera and it's this large, this thing is expensive. This is like high end. Blackmagic make basically like movie quality cameras. They're sort of very high end, and I'm sure this is like, I don't know, minimum $10,000 for something like this. But yeah, here you see the setup. He has a green screen in the background, and it's sort of across the whole wall there. That's super interesting. Again, maybe not maximalist, but, you know, serving a purpose. It's one of those setups that has a lot of stuff to serve a purpose, and I respect that. So in the comments of the Reddit post, he says, yeah, he talks about, you know, making virtual productions, and he actually gave a sample of one of his virtual productions that he has on YouTube, which I went and found. So let's have a watch together. All right, yeah, you see him. He was like sitting at the desk in the middle of the production there, while everything sort of flies around him. Let's see if I can play that. Yeah, so you see him here. Okay, that's pretty impressive. I think all of this seems to take like a lot of power to build. I actually came across the specs of his main computer in the Reddit post, and it's an AMD Threadripper 7970X. It has two GPUs, a 5090 and a 47 Ti, and 128 gigs of RAM. Man, that's a beast of a machine right there. I think I actually saw another Reddit thread which had his actual setup in it. So let's have a quick peek at that. New PC build for real-time rendering of virtual production with Unreal Engine and zero density and/or aximetry. I don't know how to pronounce that. So this is the build. Yeah, so you see Threadripper motherboard, 5090 over here, and I guess that's the PSU. Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot of GPU power. 120 gigs of RAM, man, that's a beast of a machine. Anyway, I was just impressed with the whole virtual production thing. This one seems to be more like it's definitely pure function over any form. I guess that's not really maximalism. I feel like maximalism's hard to pin down. Here we're just looking at setups with a lot of stuff in them, and then trying to find the one which has some intention behind it. I think the last setup that we showed with all the screens was a good example of that. But yeah, this one sort of made its way in there. Maybe just because I'm impressed with the whole virtual production side of it, and I just want to nerd out on that for a little bit. Anyway, let's move on to the next setup. All right, so this one's interesting because I didn't really know whether to include this or not. Funnily enough, I actually do think that this is actual maximalism. It's still more function over form. The guy built a ceiling on his desk. Essentially, it seems like there's a roof. He built a roof on his desk just so he could store more what looks like electronics. But yeah, this to me kind of does scream maximalism in the sense that it's just a lot of stuff, and it is kind of laid out in a way you can tell that he actually cares about organization a little bit. Just the way things have actually been laid out is pretty smart. So here you see his 3 monitors. I think that two number pads, which I think I read that he uses as 2 number pads, which he uses as macro pads. Yeah, pretty nice keyboard here. I'm not sure what that is. Got a Stream Deck. You have a bunch of tools. What's this? It's just like a screwdriver that can click back around. I don't know what they're called. Here you have some bits. You have tape. You have a bunch of tape. Someone's serious when they have tape easily accessible. Is that duct tape or? Yeah, that means that they're constantly just chopping things up. It's just, hey man, I need a tape. I need it here at all times. That is important to me. It seems that I think there's a power bar or just power bar maybe mixed with a light here at the back. Is that a switch? That's a network switch over here. Yeah, there's a lot going on here. Okay, yeah, so there's a power bar. No light. I'm not sure where the light is coming from. It's a gamepad mounted underneath the roof of his desk. Very strange. Very interesting position for the microphone here. Is that just like a screwed in? It's like an upside down like podium microphone stand. Smart. It works. It's kind of like having a shotgun mic, right? It's just sort of pointing directly at you from above. Yeah, there is a light here. There's a light pointing at the power bar. I guess it's bouncing light sort of off the back there. Again, cable management is. With a setup like this, I get it. It's probably just disconnecting and reconnecting stuff. It doesn't make sense to manage cables if you're just constantly disconnecting. And there isn't, to be fair to him, there isn't like a knot of cables like when I pointed out before However, just some management, please, man. Just one or two clips just to sort of guide things around. It'll to make everyone feel better, please. Oh, all right. Maybe stand a little bit corrected on the cable management. This is bad. But I mean, what you got here is this monitor stands and a drill. Is the drill just hanging there on the side? I don't know. That seems a bit dodgy. I don't know what this is attached to. Hey, at least the whole thing here seems to be attached to the wall. I mean, does it need to be if it has a roof and 4 posts? A 4-post desk. Is it another drill, or is that like an air duster? Yeah, this guy's a madman. And and actually quite nice. This is what I mean. Like the work area seems organized, and he keeps that clear. It's just everything around it is chaos, which I don't know. It's actually kind of cool to see. It's like, whoa, look at this. The work area is tidy at least. It kind of makes a bit of sense. 2 mice is just. I mean, maybe you've got 2 computers, one for gaming. This both look like. I'm not very familiar with gaming mice, but these both look like Logitech gaming mice to me. Pretty nice keyboard here. I think that's a Keychron. I think it's a Keychron keyboard. Not sure. Evangelion themed keycaps, and he's even got the cable to match. That's pretty nice, actually. I like that. Yeah, man. This is actually a nice little work area. It's just the rest is chaos. All right. Let's move on to the next setup. Yeah, so this setup is interesting. This is just, I mean, I think you can call this maximalism as well as just having like an insane amount of screens. This guy just went crazy with screens. He even says here, I'm beginning to suspect the monitors are breeding. The name's Queen Shady, so maybe it's a she. I'm not sure. But they're also called Lord of Discord. No. Anyway, let's check this setup out. This looks pretty interesting. So you got what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 monitors here. That's just overkill. These aren't small monitors. These are 27-inch at least, maybe 32. You got, this could be a laptop, or it could be like a portable monitor. I'm not sure. This looks like a TV, even though it says Linux. There's a wallpaper that says Linux on it. Is this 2 monitors here? I mean, it seems like they're kind of laid flat almost. These could be maybe touchscreen. You could have 2 touchscreen monitors on the table, which would be strange. This seems like the computer system over here. Yeah, this is a lot of screens, man. This is unnecessary. It's unnecessary. I mean, the room actually seems to be like quite nicely laid out, to be honest. It's just so many screens. I mean, even if you had 3, it would be like, yeah, 3 is reasonable. 3 here, and then I don't know. I just can't see these having any purpose. I'm gonna have to read what they've actually written about this just to see if any of this is necessary. 6 screens is just, this is crazy. Am I jealous? I'm not even jealous, really. 6 screens. It's just too much. I could do 3. I could use 3 and actually make use of all 3. 6, it's just at least 2 of these, probably 3 of these are going to be unused at any time. Maybe I'm putting Spotify on one of them, Slack if you work. But even that, you don't need a whole screen for these kind of applications. Something you can just have like in the corner of one screen. You could use one screen to do all of it. Okay, anyway, let's move on to the next image. Oh, wow. Yeah, so he has 2, these are monitors, right? Yeah, 2 sort of like lay flat monitors here. That's interesting. I'm not sure what's going on there. And this just seems to be another screen up here just for the fun of it. He has some cool Star Wars figurines here. What's this, Millennium Falcon? Look at this. These are, I mean, again, maximalism, records. Just on the side. I was actually thinking of doing this. I was actually thinking of getting some records, some LPs, and putting them up on my wall. But I don't have a record player, so I would just be buying the records to use them as decoration. I don't know. Is that like breaking any sort of? Is that like breaking a code for people who are actually into like record collecting? Am I like ruining everything for them? I don't know. I kind of felt a bit. I was like, I don't know. I might feel a bit guilty if I do this, so I didn't do it. But yeah, you can see a bunch of records here. What looks like Star Wars movie posters. We got 6 of them up here, and these humongous, I want to say Lego. Okay, yeah, it's Lego here, but this one, Twilight Imperium. There's like a whole thing online of like replica Lego. Maybe that's like a, I shouldn't say that out loud, but like I saw this thing called Lepin. I think it's a subreddit called r/Lepin, Lepin, and it's all just like, it's like Chinese Lego, and some of them look really good. So I was like looking into them. This might be one of those. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. You know, if you're like, hey man, this is real Lego, then good for you, and that's awesome, and I apologize. But yeah, this might be a replica here. I wonder how long these take to build as well. Like, this must be at least 1,000 pieces, right? This must take like a week to put this whole thing together, maybe longer. Anyway, also you can see here, pretty nice cable management with the monitors. He's wrapped all the cables here. It looks like he has 3 sort of very heavy duty monitor stands to hold up his 6 monitors. Yeah, but yeah, good job with the cable management at least. And this was interesting. So I think he mentioned here, or they mentioned that they're building what seems to be a Dungeons and Dragons, like a digital Dungeons and Dragons setup. So it looks like you have like the, what they call the Dungeon Master. Never played D&D, but I think it's the Dungeon Master is over here, and they have, I think they purchased like an all-in-one PC with a touch screen, so that the Dungeon Master can have the setup there, and then maybe everyone else is going to have screens. Maybe that's why early on there was the lay flat screens that on the side of the tables. Could be something to do with that. I'm not sure, but I just thought this was really cool. Like a digital Dungeons and Dragons. I work in IT from home, so the room ends up serving several purposes: work environment, gaming setup, small Linux lab, electronics repair bench, and occasionally a place to unwind with retro games. It's still evolving, but it's getting closer to the layout I want. Seems like the main PC, 24 core i9, 128 gigs of RAM, 48 super, and 15 terabytes of storage in your main PC. Nice. So apparently they made a post before where they had less layouts, less monitors. I removed the 2 vertical 27-inch monitors and replaced them with 3 32-inch LG Ultrafine 4K displays mounted above my primary monitors. So all of those 6 monitors are all 32-inch monitors. That is insane. It's unnecessary. 6 32-inch monitors. Nah. There's just no need. Also worth noting, my Imperial Star Destroyer is no longer alone. I added a Venator class Star Destroyer to the fleet, which conveniently matches the sleeving I use for the cable runs. Next project, digital D&D table. Once a few house projects wrap up, AC installation, etc., the next build will be a digital D&D table. The 2 27-inch Asus monitors I removed from the main setup are moving into that project. The plan is left vertical monitor facing me, Dungeon Master view, 17-inch HP touchscreen laptop, handling command and control, right vertical monitor facing the players for maps and encounters. Still in the planning phase, but it should be a fun project. That sounds awesome. Yeah, I'd love to see progress of that. Digital gaming, like combining like board games. I know Dungeons and Dragons is not really a board game, but yeah, combining like tabletop games, maybe that's the term. Combining tabletop games with technology just seems really cool to me. I love board games. I want to play more, and I'd love to play digital tabletop board games. That sounds amazing. All right, let's move on to the next setup.
Hi everyone, and welcome back. In today's video we will be doing a tour.
So this setup's interesting. I think this is actually maximalism. This is maximalist. It's not really an impressive like setup in itself. It doesn't have any sort of like mind-blowing technology. It's just very pleasantly aesthetically designed. That's the main thing. It has a horror theme to it. There's a theme. It's like, okay, I'm going to put a lot of stuff in this setup. It's all going to be around a theme which seems to, really represent the lady's tastes. And yeah, I think she's done a good job. So let's check it out.
Of my desk. We're focusing on just my desk this time because my office as a whole kind of looks like a tornado has gone through it at all times. I own a small business, and this is kind of where I do all of the things for it. And so it is just packaging galore, work galore, all the above. So we're going to focus on my desk, and there's honestly not that much. Mostly my horror collectibles and little gadgets and things like that.
That wallpaper of the screen mask, as well as the screen mask here over in the corner, that's, yeah, I couldn't walk into a room constantly and just have that there, like with the mouth open. Like, even though you know it's, like, you know clearly it's not real. I just wouldn't want to continuously walk into a room and just have that there, just ready to kind of catch your attention. Especially, like, can you imagine, like, you wake up early in the morning, you wake up, I don't know, say, 2 hours earlier than you normally wake up, so you're tired and you're just like, oh, I left something in my on my desk. Let me go and grab it. And he's walking and says, screen mask right there. I couldn't do this. Nah, can't do this. Also, I think it's really cool how, like, this is all, like, you watch some of these movies and it's just like, I'm not a massive horror movie fan. I don't mind them, but they stress me out, honestly. They just stress me out. So I'm like, how have you made stressful horror movies kind of like cute? You know what I mean? Looking at a desk, it's like, oh. It's like, oh, what's this? Is that Freddy mask? Oh. But these movies are stressful to watch, man. Yeah, she made it look cute. Also, I have this same shelf right on the table over here. I use it for my books. It's my book shelving here. It's the IKEA Hillest shelf. Very good shelf. It's very cheap. Made of metal. You can also use them outdoors if you're into, like, gardening. They're great for putting plants on because, metal. They can rust, but a lot of time you can just kind of, like, well, they don't really rust. They get this kind of, like, oxidization on the surface. You can just scrape it off. They're really well built, and I think in dollars they're like maybe $15 for like a free layer shelf. Yeah, great product.
I have this shelf next to my desk that has some more little collectibles, Funko Pops. I have some things for work, so like some of my paint, some cleaning stuff, things like that. This is kind of just anything that I need on the daily, I put on the shelf. And then my desk is just filled with little collectibles. I have this fun pin board above my monitors that I made myself, and I adore it. And then we're moving into my favorite part of the room in its entirety, but definitely of the desk area, which is my collage wall. I always have to have a collage wall near my desk. It just makes me feel good, and I can add to it daily whenever I get new things in. And yeah, it just makes me so happy. And I have these little desks, or have these little shelves on my desk. Everything is in my Amazon storefront if you are interested. But they're perfect for just putting little collectibles and compartments and things into. There's a jelly cat, and of course, a Jason light. This is where all my pins are, showing you some of my faves. So this is a Stabilo. A fun knife pen, gotta have it. And this is kind of just where
That knife pen's awesome. That's cool. I want one. I'm gonna go and look that up afterwards. Actually, that's really cool.
Like all my pens, things for work. The toothbrush is also for work. I know that's a strange thing to have there, but it's to help me dust off pieces. It's one of my old journals. And yeah, I'm constantly adding to this area, and it's forever changing. And that's kind of the fun part of it, is I kind of just add little bits and bobs as I collect them, and it's slowly growing every single day. My keyboard and mouse is also from Amazon, which is also listed in my Amazon storefront. I don't know the names of them, but you can find them there. This is my Frankenstein shelf. I adore Frankenstein, and I collect little Frankenstein things, so you had to have his entire shelf. And I also wanted to show where I actually do most of my journaling, which is not in my office. It's actually...
So I think the rest of the video is mostly about journaling, which is cool, but yeah, it's not the theme of this video. But yeah, man, I think that was a very cool setup. I love the Frankenstein's shrine. But yeah, I love the whole thing. Yeah, and it seems to actually, really make her happy. So yeah, it was a great setup. Let's move on to the next one.
In this video, I give you a tour of my newly updated live, work, video production studio loft and show.
The setup's interesting, really, because it's just because it's his use of like LED lighting. I'm gonna say he's like an LED maximalist, if that makes any sense. It's not like he's cluttered it's not like a cluttered space. It's just so much lighting in there. It's kind of, I find it overwhelming. I think that's kind of the point, though. I think he loves all these LEDs. He just likes everything all bright, it's like a nightclub. It's literally like a nightclub. But yeah, it's a studio space. I think it's based in Toronto. I'm gonna skip ahead to, I think he starts with the balcony tour. So yeah, like you can tell from most of the video, he's building this out. It's quite a nice space, but it's not maximalist. It's just a standing desk with some LED lights built into it. And yeah, some interesting lighting in the whole room.
With the new setup, super clean, super awesome. Okay, so we're on the balcony now. I really wanted this place to feel like a bit of an oasis in the city. So there's a ton of plants, a ton of greenery. We got the Govee outdoor neon lighting strip that is draping the entire balcony barrier right to the end. We got the barbecue, a little cactus. Of course, you can see in...
Like, I don't think this is his home, but I think it's his studio, his YouTube studio, as it says in the title. But man, if you're gonna have like an apartment, having a large balcony like that is like a game changer. The fact that you can fit like a full-size barbecue out there, you can even have like a sofa, like a dining table. Man, that's the way to do apartment living, if you ask me. Obviously, I think, in a lot of cities, it's very expensive to do so. But where I'm in Asia, I'm starting to notice that, yeah, like my apartment has a balcony, and most apartments actually do here. However, like I've been to some friends' houses and they have like a nice sofa out on the balcony. I'm like, oh man, it really extends the living space. Yeah, if you're gonna do balcony living and it's within your means, yeah, man, get some good balcony space. It's, I guess, nicely covered as well. I think it has to, you don't want a balcony space with no cover and it's getting all the wind hitting it. So yeah, if you've got this, it's got cover, it's got some sides, maybe you can put some flooring down, put a barbecue out there, man. It's like, it's almost as good as a garden. It just needs, trees and grass.
Side to the studio from here. It's a really fun place to hang out. I'm really happy with how it came out. We got the fire pit going right now, which I've done a video on. And this is my view from the balcony. Downtown Toronto, in the heart of the entertainment district. It's a pretty awesome place to hang out. And I'm absolutely loving the vibes now that everything is finished and completed. Super awesome. Okay, so we're gonna step into the actual studio now, continuing the tour. So I have done a dedicated video on the Govee curtain lights. I kind of have them all mounted to the top here. And as you can see, when I open my sliding doors, it kind of just drapes them to the side like so. So it's all worked out. But yeah, after a lot of hard work and determination, this is the final studio. Now, we'll just do a full 360 here. So I got this new neon sign, which I mentioned before. I will be doing a full neon buyer's guide. And I also redid this wall, but this one turns on. It puts out so much light that I actually had it off right now, but it lights up the entire kitchen. I can put it to 10%, but this one does tend to give a lot of flicker, so I don't love doing that. Anyways, back to the main space. So we have our Govee curtain lights set to a sound reactivity mode, but let's maybe change them. Let's find the right vibe for now. I do love this shapes mode as well. The meteor shower one is pretty chill to keep on the background. You know what, maybe let's just keep it on the dream color one. That's one of my favorites for sure. So this is the studio space which I work in. Everything is now cable managed from what I was working on before. We have the full desk setup. The full streaming setup is now done. Everything has been nicely cable managed in the back there, which is great. All the cables have been run.
That is a nice desk setup as well. Again, I think that's the MKH. What's it? MKH 16 Sennheiser shotgun microphone up here. You've got a tube light. You've got some pretty nice speakers. I think what are these? Are these Mackie? Yeah, you've got a sound mix. I think that's a Yamaha. And he has a Blackmagic A10 Mini Pro, I want to say, for doing switching. A lot of live streamers use this to switch between different camera angles. You can do it in software. You can use OBS or Ecamm Live is what I use to do this, but having it done hardware is quite nice. The main limitation seems to be that they're mostly 1080p, although I do think, so these are made by Blackmagic. I do think Blackmagic recently came out with a range of 4K switches, so they have more of them. They're expensive though. I think, they start at like 10 grand. So, but these A10 Mini Pros, these old ones, the 1080p ones, I think you can get them on the second-hand market. You might even be able to get them new at reasonable prices. You're talking a couple $100. Maybe second-hand you can get them cheaper. But yeah, this is overall nice setup here. 2 monitors, what looks like maybe this is the camera output. So sort of showing the camera output. Could also be a teleprompter, I'm not sure. Up here, yeah, it's a nice setup. I like how he has it in the corner as well. I don't like these Apple keyboards, but to each their own.
Underneath the desk, as you saw me working on before. And this, the final production area pegboard, is now finished. Let's turn on the lights, which this is an awesome work light. I have done a video on that. I've done a video on mostly everything here, but this is the final production area now. So much cleaner than what it was before. I had this huge printer taking up so much space. So I've gotten so much.
Man, nothing beats a good pegboard. Like if you have an office space and maybe you just have it's very basic and you're kind of like, man, I want to jazz this up a little bit. If you want to combine like decent organization with I guess satisfaction is a term. Like it's like organization. You can also make them look quite nice. Like he's added these. I think these are Yeelight. I think Yeelight make these. They're like magnetic LED lights. I think you purchase them in like packs of 3 or packs of 2. But yeah, you can add these LED lights. It seems here he's got a bunch of screwdrivers, and you can add your tapes, and you can even turn them into like charging centers for all your equipment. So you can even add in strap a power strip to the side or to the back or to the top of it, and yeah, you can power stuff from your pegboard. They're very useful. I actually have one right behind where this camera is, and I love it. I keep the things which I use on a regular basis. So one of the main things I have on there that I just used a couple of hours ago was a wire cutters, which I use for cutting 3D prints. I have one of those sort of I 3D printed a small mount for it, and I use it all the time. It's so handy. Before, I used to have those same wire cutters in the drawer, and I was constantly just opening the drawer, cut the thing, chuck it back in there. It's just not as clean as having it right there on the pegboard. It's just out available, but it's still neat. It's packed away. It's against the wall, and it's a good space saver. Yeah, nothing beats a pegboard.
Back by removing that printer, putting up the pegboard for the stuff that I use most often, and then organizing all of my gear into these cabinets here, which are all fully labeled, such as camera and battery, hard drives and media, audio, just to give you a few peeks. Everything I need is here now. I'm trying to really take a minimalist approach and just keep the things that I use most often. Everything has now been nicely cable managed too into these boxes. I'm a big fan of using these cable management boxes. Otherwise, everything.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. It's the first real sort of someone who's taking cable management seriously here. I have a bunch of these boxes around my house. They're awesome. It's something about like, you can have even like a neatly sort of like wrapped up like power extension cable, or even like, you know, like the power bricks that you have for some electronics. It's fine. It's fine that it's just sitting on the floor, sort of wrapped up. But if you just put it in a box, it's just so much nicer. It just it like transforms that little bit of space. It just makes it look neat and packed away. Just the fact that it's in a box, yeah, so much nicer. Also, you can route cables in different directions in a sort of more tidy way, or you can just hide the chaos within. Yeah, these are great, and they're super cheap. You can normally pick these up for like under $5, £5, or wherever you are in the world. Also, I realized recently you can 3D print them if you have a 3D printer. There's a bunch of models for cable management boxes. Yeah, so depends on how much filament they take. It might just be worth just buying one of the cheap boxes from Amazon or something. But yeah, cable boxes, man. These are a hack. Great hack.
We just look a mess. The 3 HDMI cables are running along the baseboards all the way around, running into this box right here for when I do live streaming and such. All the feeds are there to get the multicam setup going, as well as the monitor going. So I'm really happy with how everything turned out. It's all cable managed. I got my hypercubes. I've decided to put the big hypercube under the desk, and I fit the 2 hypercubes into these shelves. I had to drill them out and run power from behind there. This is everything with my desk. I have done a full desk tour video.
Those hypercubes are why I say that this is like an LED maximalist thing. Without those hypercubes, this would just be, you know, like a kind of cool RGB lit setup. But the fact that he has those are like, they're pretty expensive. I think I might have looked them up like, oh, those look cool. Let me see, thinking that they'll, you know, maybe be $50. No. I can't remember exactly how much they were, but it was enough where I was like, oh, really? And I think that was for the small one. I was like, it might have been like $400 or $500. I can't remember, but yeah, it's like an LED, like an infinite mirror sort of setup with LED. They look awesome, but man, they're very expensive for what is essentially just like a box of LED lights. It looks awesome. I don't know, too expensive for me. But yeah, this guy, he likes his light. He has his neon lights. He has LEDs everywhere. Everything's colorful. I kind of like it, you know. Like I respect this dedication to like. He's like, you know what I really like? I just like reds and greens and blues and everywhere. Like not just a small splash. I want RGB everywhere. And yeah, I respect it. Definitely, I think falls into maximalist now that I think about it. All right, so let's move on to the next setup. All right, so this setup's very interesting. He calls it he or she calls it a mid-century modern. That's what MCM stands for, mid-century modern maximalist remote work chaos cubicle. Now that is a beautifully scripted title, and I think the title alone should give you a hint as to what kind of set we're going to deal with here. A very well curated one. So as you can see, this is like a music focused battle station. It seems you got 3 monitors, what looks like a MIDI board. I don't really know what they're called. Plus, I guess this is a keyboard. It might be MIDI as well. You have this. I'm not sure what this is, and you also have this interesting contraption. This looks like a Victorian sideboard that's had like a screen of. I don't think it's a computer. I think that's some sort of like music device which has a screen. It's just sort of been hacked into it. That's fantastic. If so, great job, and that looks awesome. Also love it. Seems like a book collection here. You got a little bit of nudity in the art here on the wall, which we always respect. Very cool rug down here, and plants growing everywhere. I love that. Yeah, man. This is a great setup. This is maximalism. This is what maximalism looks like. Peak maximalism. Oh yeah. There's that side table. You got some records here. It seems to have a pretty big record collection. I'm not sure if these these are records of these. No, these are all books at the top, records along the bottom. Okay, and you have this. Yeah, what? So it's a dresser with what looks like an audio interface here, and I have no idea what that is. With a screen, I mean, like a computer program. Yeah, it's a computer program, but it looks like a very specific, like just the design of it, whatever's running on there. I think it's actually part of whatever this device here is. Yeah, that's fascinating. Okay, so this is the setup. Looks sort of seems to be like a partition cabinet here. Got a little record player. Yeah, you see the plants there. Very tastefully done. Lots of plants here. Wow, is that a throw or is that someone's jacket? No, I think that's like a sofa throw. Oh, little kitten paying the kitty tax. Some very nice looking speakers here. Old but nice looking speakers, and lots more books. Mid-century modern. Very well done. Peak maximalism. Well done, sir or ma'am. All right, let's move on to the next setup. All right, so the title of this one is Welcome to Trinketville. And yeah, I think what this setup does very well is display trinkets. This is, again, this is maximalism also, in the sense where, you take a theme. It looks like if you have a magazine that has anime characters, is it a manga? Or I don't know, how does that work? Would that be manga? I'm not sure. Yeah, you have a pretty awesome manga anime art collection here on the wall. A bunch of figurines dispersed throughout it. Oh yeah, look at that. So you've got a whole shelf which is just covered in in figurines. That's pretty awesome. You've got like a monkey plushie hanging from the microphone stand. Yeah, this is crazy work right here. Um, the setup itself seems adequate. I can't really tell what it's running from. If it's a PC, I'm gonna assume it's a PC and not a laptop. You've got dual screens here. What could be this could be a 24-inch, maybe a 27. Main monitor here. You've got some Creative Pebble speakers. Yeah, man, this is maximalism. Let's not get it twisted. This is what maximalism is. Like the layout of the art, the pictures on the walls, just the amount of plushies laid out throughout it. This is maximalism. You even got some gun. Is that gunpla over here? This is maximalism. There's also some more pictures provided by the author. So let's look those up. Trinket reality. Wow. Yeah. Look at this. I still can't see the PC. It looks like you've got like just an Xbox. That looks like an Xbox controller. Even the chair is just completely covered in. This is the side table. Maybe this is like used for art or maybe studying. If this is a student, this could be like the study desk, and the other one's the main sort of compute. Yeah, if you see that is that's two gunpla over here. I'm not sure what figures those are. Man, this is really cool. I love this poster. And one more of the main work area. Pretty nice keyboard there. I'm not sure what keyboard that is. What's the name? Acco? That might be an Acco keyboard. Yeah, it's a pretty great setup here. I mean, not great setup. This is a great example of maximalism. Again, that's what we're looking for today. Maximalism. All right. So good work. Trinket reality right there. All right, let's move on to the next and the last setup. Okay, so this one, this is maximalism right here. I think I literally did a search on Reddit for maximalism, came across r/maximalism, found the setup called Maximalist Battle Station and Gunpla Workshop. This is maximalism right here. So let's have a look at this setup here. Wow, look at that. I'm not saying this looks bad. I think it actually looks really cool. I love this picture of Frank from Always Sunny, but Danny DeVito, that's his name, right? Awesome picture of Danny DeVito. I Want to Believe poster here. Even this desk mat. I think this is a Razer. I think Razer made like a, I think they called it like a Kraken desk pad. Yeah, it's that desk pad. But like the choice of wallpaper combined with the sticker bomb shelves and these kind of desk pads, plus all of the pictures here, it's the first setup I'm seeing today, which like it kind of makes me like, oh, it doesn't make me feel comfortable. I don't feel at ease. I feel a bit tense. It makes me tense up, this setup. And I think I don't know if it's just the wallpaper. I mean, that's really cool art, but man, it's just too much. It's too much. It's like graphical overload, color overload. I kind of love it, but it also kind of makes me tense. I don't know if that would go away if you're sitting around it. I guess it would. It would just blend into the background. But yeah, this is the first setup of the bunch that's definitely making me feel a little bit tense. Oh, that's cool. He's got a PS2 over here. He's got a Steam Deck. I don't know is this keyboard for the Steam Deck? Or it could just be another keyboard that he swaps to use for the main setup here. I think there's a gunpla station, like making station over here to the side, which is really cool. It's just a PC here. It seems like a decent build. I think, that's not, I was going to say that's one of the Corsair cases. They made these cases which they put like a glass front, and it was supposed to be terrible for airflow. Which I'm like, yeah, why would you put a glass front on the front of a PC case? It makes no sense to me. But yeah, this seems to have a glass front. I'm sure it looks good, but it must be terrible for airflow. Where's the air going to flow in? From the bottom and from the little slot on the top? Terrible, bad idea. But yeah, is that I think that's a Musashi poster. Wow, look at that. Yeah, so that's his gunpla construction, I guess, painting station. Are these actually like small magazines, or is this just like, have these just been cut out and stuck on there? Maybe it's like a type of wallpaper, or like a little collage, essentially. See, it's stuff like this whatever's going on here. This reminds me of what was it, Attack on Titan, the anime? It's like when it had some of those, like when they just grew up into massive sizes. Some of them kind of looked at it, and I was like, I got that same feeling. I'm like, this is it makes me a little bit tense to watch. I don't know what it is. There's something about it. It's odd. It's very odd. But yeah, this is just kind of cool. I think that this is his dedicated Steam Deck setup, which is really cool. This little stand here, I think I've seen this. I think it's from IKEA. These are really cool. I've noticed that Muji actually make these kind of like desktop stands now. Very cool. A little bit pricey for Muji, but that's another angle. Yeah, beautifully done, but man, stressful. It's just so much going on. How do you not look at that and just go like, whoa, what am I looking at? It takes my brain like a couple of seconds just to try and like pull out even just one or two specific details. It's just so much information in one picture. It's too much. Oh yeah, gotta have the fan over here. The cool, is this Akira? Oh yeah, it's the whole poster there. There's multiple fans. So he has the small desk fan here, one to the side. Maybe this is in like a humid location, no AC or something like that. Also, this desk pad again, it's too much, man. See, this isn't so like stress inducing. This desk pad over here, this is more lighthearted. I mean, it seems that more of the the stressful stuff is over here being covered up. So maybe that's why. Good for health, bad for education. But yeah, I think that's the last picture of the setup. Yeah, very interesting setup. Definitely, maybe the most maximalist. Could I say that's the most maximalist setup? Not sure. But yeah, I feel stressed. I feel just a little bit stressed looking at pictures of that. I can't imagine sitting in front of that every single day. It would just make me tense. I'd walk out just with my shoulders would be up like this. I'd just be too tense. All right, that's the last setup for today. And I think we are going to move on now to a couple of final announcements. Okay, so that's all the setups we have for today. If you enjoyed this episode of Setup Reacts, and I really hope you did, we're going to be releasing a new episode every Thursday. So make sure that you get subscribed and drop a like for this video while you're at it. Subscribing means you won't miss a single episode of Setup Reacts in the future. And as we're still like a new channel, you'll help us grow and give us the motivation we need to keep making these videos. You can also go to setupreacts.com and sign up for the newsletter where we go a little deeper into each setup featured here. And you can also submit your own setup to be featured in a future episode if you're feeling brave enough. Go ahead, I don't bite. Finally, this episode is brought to you by InputZen, where we're creating keyboards and tools that help you complete creative work faster. Our flagship product is called the Build Box, and it's a macro pad that lets you program in shortcuts and macros for any software that you use to get your work done. Imagine one key cutting and then moving a video you're editing in apps like Final Cut Pro. Now expand that amount of functionality to 16 keys, each one uniquely programmable. Add in a crispy display that lets you know what each key's function is and what layer you're on. And you can add multiple layers, by the way, meaning like hundreds of macros available for pretty much every app you use. And finish it off with one of the smoothest dials out there for scrolling like butter through documents or your video and audio application timelines. Well, we've built all of this into the BuildBox macro pad, and you can learn all about it by heading to inputzen.com or clicking the link in the description. Thanks for watching episode 2 of Setup Reacts, and I will see you again next Thursday reacting to more insane setups. Until then, take care.
Perfect.